15 topic-wise chapters or prakaranas, 15 chapters grouped into 3. The Viveka Prakaranas, the Dipatmika Prakaranas, and Ananda Prakaranas. The Viveka Prakaranas deal with discrimination. The next 5 Prakaranas, classified as Dipatmika Prakaranas, discuss consciousness or light. The third set of Prakaranas, Ananda Prakaranas, are about the nature of Brahman as bliss. The classification into 3, Sat, Chit, Ananda, enable discussion of Sat, existence as Brahman, Chit, consciousness, Ananda as bliss. Swamiji emphasized that when one studies a new text, one should have an understanding of the system established there. The Panchadashi has 1,571 shlokas, but we will study only selected prakaranas. Swamiji listed out the 15 prakaranas. The first is Tattva Viveka Prakarana with 65 shlokas. The second is Pancha Mahabhuta with 109 shlokas. The third is Panchakosha Prakarana, followed by Dvaita Viveka Prakarana and Mahavakya Prakarana. The sixth is the Chitra Deepa Prakarana. The seventh, Triti Deepa Prakarana, which both of these are large prakaranas which are essential for the study as they give a deep understanding of Vedanta. After this, Swamiji will take up the third group of 5 Ananda Prakaranas, that is the 11th, which is Yogananda Prakarana, which has 134 shlokas, and Atmananda Prakarana with 90 shlokas, the Advaitananda with 105, Vidyananda with 65, and the last, which is Vishayananda with 85 shlokas. Swamiji then gave us a brief glimpse into the life of the author, Shri Vidyaranya Mahaswamiji, and his significant contribution to Vedanta. Swamiji then opened the Panchadashi text with the Mangala Charanam or invocation. After performing salutations to the Almighty and to Vidyaranya Swamiji's Guru, Shri Shankarananda, Swamiji explained that this is done because the Guru can destroy or dispel our ignorance. Salutations to the lotus feet, wherein the feet of the Guru are compared to the lotus. The lotus flower is considered auspicious and holy. This flower is used for worship on special occasions. Swamiji explained the significance of the lotus and made it even more interesting for us by showing us the Brahma Kamalam flower. The first chapter, Tattva Viveka Prakaranam, is about discrimination between the real and unreal. The second line of the first shloka is in praise of he who can remove ignorance or delusion and enable us to enter our own nature of consciousness or bliss. The name of Shri Vidyaranya Swamiji's Guru, Shankarananda, implies Brahma, Jnana, or the nature of Brahma. Swamiji explained the meaning of Shankara. Swamiji explained the meaning of Shankara. Shamkaroti iti Shankara. That is, he who gives us happiness or bliss. That is, Paramatma, the ultimate reality. When we know reality, we get happiness. When we experience our own nature, we cannot deny our own consciousness. This is the main subject of the textbook, that we can experience our own consciousness. The completion of happiness comes after the experience of knowledge, Brahman, knowledge of consciousness. Shloka 2, the actual study of the Panchadashi starts here. It is said that we are starting the discussion about truth and untruth, reality and unreality. This is discussed with the students or seekers whose hearts have been purified by seva or dedicated service to the Guru. There is a reference made to Adhikari Lakshanam, the necessary qualities the student or seeker has to possess to acquire knowledge. That is, dedication, purity of mind, etc. Swamiji advised that we read the shlokas covered in the class and then contemplate on what we have learned. An incident in Vidyaranya Swamiji's life relating to Adhikari Lakshanam was then narrated by Swamiji. Let us now listen to Swamiji. Hari Om.
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्य कृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम नमो नारायणाय। We chant the first sloka as invocation for our class. So we have seen those first sloka, two slokas. Namah Shri Shankarananda Gurupadambu Janmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane Namah Shri Shankarananda Gurupadambu Janmane Savilasa Mahamoha Grasaika Karmane. So we will continue to chant this sloka in each class, so you can practice this as a Mangalacharanam, invocation sloka. So the first chapter of Panchadashi, which is named as Tattva Viveka, the discrimination of reality. So now from here, Vidyaranya Mahasvami is directly entering to the subject. Our subject is discrimination of reality. So he is entering to the subject directly. Now we know this whole book is an exposition of Sat, Chit and Ananda. The three essential characteristics of Brahman, the nature of Brahman. In other words, we call it Swarupa Lakshana. So you can see from here, we start with the Sat. How Sat Brahman can be experienced as Atman. Now in many of the shlokas, you will see there is no separation of Atman and Brahman. So both are taken as one, and whole discussion we see this as one. So we take up the next shloka, the third shloka. Shabdasparshadayo vedya vaichitra jagare prithak. You can chant once I chant, so I give some time for chanting. Tado vibhakta tatsamvit ekarupya na bhidyate. And I will split the padas. Those who like to practice it again, it will be easy for them, because in many of the books, the padacheda, the splitting the words, is not there. So I just split to understand rightly. Shabdas parshadayo vedya vaijitriad jagare prithak. Tato vibhakta tat samvit ekarupyan na vidyate. Here I am splitting as given in the shloka. Actually, according to the Sanskrit grammar, when we split, there is some differences are there. For example, when we split and say Shabdas Parshadayah, we won't say Shabdas Parshadayo. But for convenience, I will just say what is there. No? Because if you don't know Sanskrit grammar, you will be confused. Why I read something else and split something else. Okay, so I follow as it. So Shabda Sparshadayo Vedyaha Vaichitrya Jagare Prithak. Now we are thinking about Jagrat, waking state. In waking state, we have many objects. Shabda, Sparsha, Adayaha. Sound, touch, etc. From etc. we can take form, taste, and smell. So these are the 5 objects, 5 sense objects. Shabda, Sparsha, Adaya. Then it says Vedyaha, and these are the objects of knowledge. So whatever we gain as knowledge or cognition of these 5 only. There is no cognition other than these 5. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So those are called Vedya. Vedya means which to be known, to be experienced, are called Vedya. And where it is? In Jagare. It is in waking state. All this multiple experience we have in waking state. Now you may be wondering, we know about waking state. Now why here it is discussed? Why we learn about this waking state? Because we are very much familiar with this waking state. There is no need to discuss on that. But there is a purpose. You will learn that purpose here. Now in waking state, these 5 objects sound and etc. are known as objects of experience. Jagare. And the point is Vaichitryad Prithak. Vaichitya means they have various forms. The variety, they are different varieties. The Shabda is different, Sparsha is different, like that. The sound does not know touch, and touch doesn't understand sound. They don't have any connection in between. This is the important point. They are all separate. The sound does not understand touch, and touch does not understand form, taste, or smell. So each object is completely different. Though they are bringing the knowledge, we have perception of those, but they don't have connection in between. That is the point we are going to discuss here. So therefore it is said Vaichitriyat. And not only Vaichitriya, not only they are different varieties, but Prithak, there is difference. It means diversion is also there. They are completely different. It means they don't have any connection between. Now these two words sound similar, but they have two different meanings. Vaichitriya means they have many forms. They are varieties of forms. Prithak means they are diverted. They are separated. They cannot be connected. Now, you see, these 5 objects are different. From these 5 different objects, we have 5 different cognitions, right? And these cognitions do not connect each other. So they are separate. How we can say that? Because when we know sound, the sound element is not giving the experience of touch element. So when we experience touch, there is no experience of form or taste or smell. Right? So this is our experience. Now you see the next line says Tataha vibhakta tatsamvit. Now, because these are different, they are separated from each other, we feel that cognition is different, our knowledge is different, the perception is different, because we perceive each object separately. Therefore, we are unable to understand what is happening in between. Now you see, what is the experience here? Actually, we have a profound experience in this. Though these 5 experiences, 5 knowledges are different, but the knower is the same. How? Because the knower knows that these 5 knowledges are different and they are not connected each other. They are totally separate. They don't convey anything each other. There is no communication with those 5. They don't communicate each other. Okay, then what does it mean? There should be a single knower, the single knowledge which could connect all these five. Because these five knowledges are different. They don't have a communication each other. Okay, this much you understood now. Then what should we say? There should be a separate knower who is the knower of all these five. Okay, he is singular, he is one and the same, because he knows sound, he knows touch, and he knows this, that touch is not connected to sound and sound is not connected to touch. Right? So this way, you just meditate on this. Then we can affirm that there is a sixth person, sixth knowledge apart from this. Okay, that sixth knowledge is the knowledge that is called, that is the knowledge, that is the Brahman, that is Atman, the Tad Samvit, Tado Vibhakta Tad Samvit. So that is the Samvit, that is the consciousness. Tataha Vibhakta, separate from these five. That is the consciousness. Now that consciousness, ekarupyad na vidyate. That is ekarupa, that is one, or we can say that knows the difference of all this. That is one. So now, the consciousness which is not involved in any of these objective activities. The objective activities are taken care by the sense organs and mind. But the consciousness is separate from this, and the objects, what the perception we get from objects, he is analyzing those objects. The consciousness is knowing those objects. And we can say that knower is none of these sense organs. Right? That knower must be different from this. None of these senses. So if you can get this point, you will experience that each knowledge is connected with you when the object is there or you are experiencing the object. But the real knower is separate from that object, but he knows everything. So tado vibhakta samvit ekarupyad na vidyate. That does not differ because of its oneness, because it cannot go away. It cannot move away from this. And without moving away is different from those objects. This is the experience. Now, consciousness which is experienced in this way has to be known as existing, ever existing. It's the existence. and transcending all these experiences. Because if consciousness is not above these objective experiences, consciousness cannot know these experiences. Because, as I said, the experience of sound, the perception of sound is not connected with the perception of touch. Because they are separate. They are not knowing each other. If I know those 5 objects, then I must be different from that and seeing all those. So this is my nature. This is my nature as existence and consciousness. So all these functions in waking states are taken place because of the presence of this consciousness. This waking state is a conditioned state. It is conditioned with all these objects, mind, but the actual consciousness is different from that. So this is a meditation here. So tado vibhaktaha tat samvit eka rupyat na vidyate. So this is not now. Now the second next sloka is carrying this idea to dream state. Now in waking state, we have taken 5 sense organs, sense experiences. And in dream state, we will analyze the dream state, dream experience. So see the next sloka. Tatha swapnetra vedyam to nasthiram jagare sthiram. Tadbhedo tastayo samvit ekarupana vidyate. The words are Tatha swapne atra vedyam tu na sthiram jagare sthiram. Tadbhedo atastayoho samvit ekarupa na vidyate. The similar idea is conveyed here with the example of experience of dream. So in dream, tatha swapne, it is similar even in dream. Swapne atra. What is the difference? It is said vedyam tu nasthiram. Only difference is in waking state, the object seems to be still and steady. But in dream state, the experienced objects are unsteady. They are not sthira, nasthiram. Jagare sthiram. So in waking state, what we experience directly and say, oh, this is all are there. So if you want to keep any of those objects, you can keep it. Because it has some character of, it is like permanent. it stays. But in dream, whatever we experience, we are unable to carry on with those because those are impermanent, unsteady. That's the difference. Tadbhedo adastayoho samvideka rupana vidyate. The experience is the same. So there also in dream state also we experience many objects there as in waking state. So those objects are the same, seems to be the same, but the knowledge, the consciousness is the seer. So therefore, the experience in Jagrat and experience in dream, Swapna, both are the same. So tad bhedo atastayoho samvid eka rupa na vidyate. So what is the conclusion? As in waking state, in dream state also, we experience many objects. Those objects are different. No, they differ each other, but the consciousness is the same. The consciousness is the seer there. So therefore, in waking state and the dream state, we can say the consciousness is the same. So knower is the same, and he's comparing his experience with waking state, and when he comes back from dream, he remember all those. Therefore, the knower is there in waking state. So this is the subject here. Now what we understand from this is waking state have varieties of experience, but those experiences are based in consciousness. The perceiver is consciousness. So therefore, that consciousness must be one, the Eka Rupa. That consciousness is not different. It's not separated. It is always there and experiencing that. So therefore, I said, when we see objects outside, we must say those objects are different from me, and I am the experiencer of that. Now, for the time being, if you think that you are removing all those experiences in the sense the sound, touch, and all the five objective experiences, you are just removing those experiences. Then what remains? You yourself remains. Those experiences are not there, but you know I am. The knower is still there without knowing. Right? So where the knower is alone without objects, so that is the state of pure consciousness. That is what you experience as your own core existence. So if objects are not there, you don't deny yourself. That shows this consciousness is not produced by waking state or dream state or the experiences of those states. It is not from waking state, it is not from dream state. So therefore, that consciousness must be standing above all these states. Then only that consciousness can experience these two states. Okay, so we will take up the third state as well, the Turiya, the Sushupti. The next sloka says, Suptodhitasya saushupta tamo bodho bhavet smritihi. Sachava buddha vishaya avabuddham tattadattamaha. We split these words like Suptothidasya Saushupta Tamo Bodha. This is actually one word of compound of Saushupta, Tama and Bodha. So three words are there. Bhavet Smritihi Sacha Avabuddha Vishaya Avabuddham Tattada Tamaha. Now, it was easy to understand waking state and dream state as well. But in the case of deep sleep, it is difficult to understand how the consciousness is there. Because we don't have any object there. Our mind is not working there. So we can't say we are experiencing something. So therefore, it is a bit difficult to analyze deep sleep. But fortunately, we have the memory of deep sleep. Now remember, you have the memory of deep sleep. That is the only proof that you were there in your deep sleep. If there is no memory, then you have no proof of what was there. Therefore, we will take up this memory for inference. So by this memory, we infer what had happened there. So the knowledge of deep sleep, there is a knowledge, there is a knower as well. The Supta Uttidasya, the person who is awakened, Saushupta Tamo Bodhaha. So he has the experience of deep sleep with ignorance. Saushupta Tamo Bodhaha. The Saushupta means which is there in Sushupti, deep sleep. And what experience he has? He has the experience of tama. Tama means opposite of knowledge. Opposite of knowledge is called tama. As prakasha is supportive of knowledge and tama is obstruction for knowledge. It wields knowledge. Therefore, it is called tama. So, tama bodhaha. So, he has the knowledge of tamas, knowledge of ignorance, or knowledge of something which was obstructing his experience. So, he is aware about that. Now, bhavet smritihi. So, this smriti is there. This memory is there. So, now, you see, the knowledge of having slept cannot be there unless consciousness was there. Right? Because you have the knowledge of having slept. That cannot be described as untruth or unreal experience. That is perfectly real experience. You have no doubt on it. So having slept, this experience cannot be there unless consciousness was there. So this is the inference. This is how we infer. And with this inference of this memory, we prove ourselves. We prove ourselves. I was there in the sleep. I was sleeping and I was experienced. Now, who is this I? That's the question. We will find an answer for that. So the fact that we have experienced the sleep without sense organs, without mind, without intellect, without ego. Because we don't remember ego there, we don't remember our mind, mental activities, we don't remember any objects outside. So that is a fact, that is the truth we experience. So the fact of our having slept and coming back to the waking state with the memory of the experience there. So it means there is a continuity. There is a continuity of consciousness. Without continuity, you cannot remember the previous experience to the next experience. It is something very deep, okay? Because the experience of Brahman in Sushupti is something profound. It's a profound experience. Therefore, we should contemplate on it again and again. So now this is the trick, how we prove ourselves in all the states the same. So if you can prove that who had the sleep experience is having the waking experience, then it means you know yourself as one and the same in all the three states. There is no need to tell anything about it. There is no need for Vedantic learning because this you have. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to analyze all these things and think about all this experience, make notes about it. Therefore, we learn Vedanta to learn all this, what we are having the experience, how we are having the experience. And you see, for this experience, for this knowledge, we don't have, there is no need for any other proof. Your own experience is proof for it. So now here you see how here in Pancadashi, Vidyaranya Mahaswami is trying to take us to the reality, Tattva, because the Prakarana is Tattva Viveka. We have to discriminate the reality, the Tattva. So, Supta Uthidasya Saushupta Tamo Bodhaha Bhaved Smritihi. And this Smriti, we know from our all theories, Smriti, memory comes after the experience, after the real experience. Okay, so memory is an after effect of the experience. So here we have a clue, something interesting for our investigation. Now, what we are going to investigate is, without mind, without sense organs and all these elements, where the experience happened and how this memory is reproduced. Because we know remembrance is the aftermath of a conscious experience. I repeat, remembrance, remembrance without doubt, we can say, is the aftermath of conscious experience. Conscious experience. If you are not conscious of some experience, you can't remember, no? If you are not consciously listening, memory is the aftermath of conscious remembering. Conscious consciousness. So, sacha avabuddha vishaya. Sacha. Sacha means that smriti. That smriti is avabuddha vishaya. It can only come after the experience. Smriti comes only after the experience. Avabuddha vishaya. Avabuddha means what is already known, very well known. Now, our respected Acharya Vidyaranya Muniji is very famous for his wording. He uses perfect wording for the sentences. No, he cannot miss anything there because he is blessed with goddess, Lakshmi's darshanam. Last session we remembered that story. So he prayed to goddess Saraswati. So he had the darshanam of goddess Saraswati, and also he got Lakshmi as well. So therefore his wordings are very perfect. Therefore sometimes we feel a little difficult to understand the sentence. No, he puts words very correctly. So we have to find right words for the translation as well, to make it perfect, no understanding. Sacha avabuddha vishaya. Now, avabuddha vishaya means that memory is because of previous conscious experience. So it cannot be denied. Now you say nobody was there in the deep sleep. Who was knowing that? Who is the knower there? The knower is not there. Because we know we have no, our existence is not there. But Upanishad says this knower cannot miss anything. Now he will never miss anything in your experience. Pashyan vai tanna pashyati, shrunvan vai tanna shrunoti, vijanan vai tanna vijanati. This is what Prakarana Upanishad says. The Upanishad says, you see, you feel that there was no seer. You feel like that. The seer was not there in deep sleep. But indeed, seer was there. Pashyan vai tanna pashyat. Seer was actually seeing. But you feel you are not seeing. No, this is the problem. Because in your understanding, cognition means, knowing means with the mind, with the thought process. You have no idea of, without thought process, how the knowing would be. Therefore, you declare, I was not there, I was not knowing anything, and this and that, all those you add there. Actually, you were knowing without mind. So this is the experience there. As I said, if the knower is different from waking state, dreaming state, and still he is different from this deep sleep, then that knower is above all these stages, all these states of awareness. That knower is pure awareness. Why? As I said, no, there are 5 objects in front of you. 5 objects are, each object is different from another. So they are in front of you. You are the knower of those objects. So then we can say the knower is above all 5 objects because he is different from that. Right? You accept this? Yeah. If you accept this, now we have 3 states. One is called waking state. Second is called dreaming state. And the third is called sleeping state or deep sleep. So now you know all these 3. Do you know all these 3? You know all these 3. Then what does it mean? Very simple and direct. What does it mean? You are different from all these 3 because you are knowing those. Yeah, we can understand in another way, another words, just for the clarification, because it is very important point. Okay. Suppose you think that because you are very familiar with waking state and you are always with the waking state and you enjoy waking state, your life is waking state. Okay. You don't consider dream state as is life. Nobody is considering that. If you earn something from dream state, maybe millions of rupees, you don't consider those rupees as real, because it's a waste of time of thinking of those rupees. It is obvious that you don't believe, you don't accept those, the dream state. Even then you are knowing it. Now, suppose your consciousness, it means you are completely identified with the waking state. It means you are completely absorbed with the waking state. There is nothing left back after waking state. Waking state is the reality for you. You are only in waking state, completely observed with waking state. If there is no waking state, there is no you left. Okay? Then what is the result? Then you cannot take yourself from this waking state to dream state, because waking state is completely it means all your consciousness and everything is filled there, and nothing left back, nothing left over. Okay, so it can now the consciousness cannot go anywhere, because it is completely observed there. Then how you are going to understand, how you are going to see dream? Huh? So you cannot see dream, no, because your consciousness is left with the waking state, and now there is no waking state. Now who is going to see the dream? So therefore we have to say waking state is only a part. It's a special chance. We have a chance there. We are doing something there. But the consciousness is not limited and enveloped there, covered there, or bounded there. It is extensive. It is extended to dream state as well. Why? The reason is we are giving a reason. The reason is, if without consciousness, the experience of dream state cannot happen. Right? So now what does it mean? The consciousness which we believe in waking state is extended to dream state as well. We have to say that consciousness is extended. It is not lost in waking state. It is not completely lost there. Now, if that is the case, now you see the same thing is there in dream state. Now, consciousness is not completely identified with the dream state. It is not lost there completely. It is still extensive to deep sleep. So because only with consciousness you know waking, you know dreaming, and you know sleeping. So after having slept, you remember all these three. You say, no, I was in waking state, then I went to dream, and then I got sleep, and now I am back with again waking state. So this is the inference. This is the beauty of this remembrance. So we are getting this remembrance, the memory of deep sleep. So we can firmly say that we have the consciousness even in deep sleep. So Pashyan vai tanna pashyati. So now you are different from all these three, right? So because you are seeing all these three as objects. Now just to know this. The seer of all these three states, who is different from all these three states and involved with all these three states. That consciousness is called Turiya. That's all. So this consciousness is called Turiya, the fourth stage of consciousness. Actually, this is not a stage, but since we are counting three states differently, we have to say this consciousness which is separate from these three states and who is aware about all these three states should be the fourth one. Therefore, we call it fourth stage of consciousness as Turiya. So now Turiya is untouched with all these stages. Turiya is untouched with all these experiences as such. So in order to experience all this, remember all this, we think that Turiya is attached to the state. Turiya is attached to each and every experience. But Turiya is not attached. Because if Turiya is attached to this experience, he cannot know the other things. He can only know what is there in waking state. Therefore, Turiya is unidentified with all these experiences. Asango yayam purushaha. Okay. So this is what the fifth shloka says. Now, sixth shloka. Sabodho vishayat bhinno nabodha swapna bodhavat. Sabodho vishayat bhinno nabodha swapna bodhavat. Evam sthanatrayepyeka samvit tadvit dinantare. So we split the words. Sabodhaha, sa bodhaha, vishayad bhinnaha, vishayad bhinno, na bodhat swapna prabodhavat, swapna bodhavat, evam sthanatraye api eka samvit tadvat dinantare. Now, you see how simply here the author is telling us the truth. He says, we have analyzed 1 day experience. No, 1 day experience. We have analyzed all the three states, 1 day experience. Now, you take another day, yet another day, continue this contemplation. That is what he says. Tadvat dinantare. The first waking states and dream and sleep, these are there. These three are there. And the knower as Turiya. So the sabodha vishayat bhinnaha. So this bodha, this experience of the consciousness or the experience of deep sleep, the remembrance of deep sleep, sabodha vishayat bhinnaha. As we know, the object and subject is distinct. The object cannot be subject and subject cannot be object. The object is outside in the sense we perceive it, therefore it is called outside. And the subject is inside because the knower is inside. We feel that I know. We never feel that I know. No, we don't say I know. So I is always the feeling of inside. So therefore, that is true. Now, sabbe bodho vishayat bhinna. Na bodhat swapna bodhavat. But bodha, the knowledge, the consciousness is not different itself. You cannot separate the consciousness. Consciousness is always one and the same. The experiences are different, but the consciousness is one. Why? Because I say I slept, I dreamt, I am waking now. So this I as an experience is the same, but the object we produced is different. So therefore, objects can be different. They differ each other. But when I say I slept, I am the same. I dreamt, I am the same. I am in waking state, I am the same. So therefore, na bodhat swapna prabodhavat. The consciousness in the state of dream, it is the same. Because we see all the objects there, the recognizer is the same. Now, there is another point. Now we say there is waking state, dream state, and deep sleep. Now we have three. Now each state is not knowing the other state, because each state has different occupants. Each state is in different situation. That state is unable to know the other state. Correct? The waking state is unable to know dream state, and dream state is not remembering waking state, and deep sleep does not know waking state and dream state. This is the situation. But we are counting three states, and we know each state is different from other. Then what does it mean? It means the connection of three states is known by our own self. Okay. The mutual connection of three states is not known by three states. any of these states. It is known by totally a different entity from those three states. So this is called, this we can say that recognizer or reconciliator of three states. So reconciliating all these three states. I say 1, 2, 3. So I know each is different. And those are connected in another sense. So this knowledge is from self. Therefore it is said, evam sthanatrayepi eka samvit. Sthanatrayepi, in all three states, you have one samvit, one consciousness, one homogeneous consciousness, which is connecting all these three. Because we remember what happened yesterday, we remember what is happening today, and we remember what had happened few years before. So who is that memory, how it comes? Because those days passed, and those days, what the days what passed, it cannot be come back and say, oh, that date happened, this date happened. It cannot come and say. They have gone. They disappeared. But the knower is still alive. So the memory is there. It is called pratyabhijna, remembrance. Okay. So this way we have completed the analysis of three states and bringing the conclusion of that these three states are different. They differ each other, but the consciousness is one and the same. And with that consciousness, we have the experience of existence, consciousness. It means I know I am. I know I am. So this is the proof for our core existence. So that is what we discussed. Now the next part, in a couple of sloka, we will discuss Ananda, bliss. So Sat, Chit and Ananda. So today we conclude here. If you have any questions, any clearance, you can ask. Over to you for questions. Hari Om.
There is one question from Rakesh Handu. Please unmute and ask the question.
Yeah, please unmute and ask.
Rakesh, please unmute and ask the question.
Yes, thank you, Hari Om Swamiji. I was not able to unmute so far. Now I am able to unmute. Swamiji, thank you very much for this elaborate explanation on consciousness and the three states. But my question is that this consciousness is all pervading during this lifetime alone. Why is it lost after the death? Why is it lost, this consciousness? Because we don't know, we can't remember the previous janma, or we can't know what the next janma would be. Why is this consciousness lost after death? Please elaborate. Thank you so much.
Yes. The answer is consciousness is never lost. Only the thought process connected to mind is not there. With some practice or some equipment, if one can get the special mind which can make the thought process, then definitely you can remember the previous birth. So we have so many techniques in Yoga Shastra and other systems. So they do some special practices and then get the memories back. It's possible. And there are so many stories. The people who had such experiences. Actually, we all have some memories, some slight, very, faded memories of previous birth. But we don't know how to recognize those memories, identify them, and connect with today's experiences and today's thought process. Because very simple, it is very simple, as you see, not only in this birth, not only in the previous birth, but in this birth also. You are there in your mother womb for 9 months. So the science says after 5 or 6 months, you get the mind and memory and everything. So slowly it increases. But today, you don't remember how was the experience in that stage when you were in the womb of mother. So this is very simple. If now you don't have in this birth also, you don't remember everything. So your childhood, after the birth, the childhood, you don't remember everything. So this is very simple. There is no thought process. If you can make that with some practices or some equipments or something, it's possible. It's not something unbelievable or unacceptable like that. It's just very very simple process, simple theory there. Okay, next question. If anybody.
Yeah, there is a question from Sheshu Turbak. Please unmute and ask.
Swamiji, it is normally said, okay, these 3 states are available for only humans, and the gods have only 2 states. And if the gods need to take the moksha, they need to become the human being. How are these 3 states, the third state, so important? Without that, a moksha cannot be obtained.
Third state in the sense Sushupti?
Gods doesn't have Sushupti, right?
No.
They always Jagrati.
No. It's actually, these stages are not important for moksha. We have these experiences, so we are analyzing it. That's all. If somebody is not having the dream state, that is not his fault, or this is not a problem. If we can, you can analyze the other states. This is because we have all these states and the experiences are there. So we get some good understanding of those experience, when we get those experience, we are able to know that our consciousness is always there. That's all. If we have one stage or two stages, it doesn't make any difference. Okay, there is another stage of unconscious stage. No, that's also there. So in Shastra, I said Ardha Sushupti. It's like half sleep state. It is fourth stage. Waking state, dream state, and this unconscious state, and then deep sleep state. Is those three are different. So four stages are different.
In Maharana Upanishad, it comes, right? I'm not getting that mantra. That the mantra, it comes that Devas doesn't have or something connected with this. The three states.
It means the Devata, Devas, they don't sleep. There is no need for sleep. That is what it means. No. Why we need sleep? Because our body gets tired, our brain gets tired. If your body and brain is not tired, there is no need for sleep. That's all. It's very simple. Okay. So therefore, even in yogis and jnanis, they sometimes they don't sleep. There is no need for sleep. So obviously, Devatas, they are beyond all these. So they are Sattva-guna Pradhanis. They have Sattva-guna. The Sattva-guna is predominant in them. Therefore, there is no need for sleep. They have always their mind and things active. So we can believe that there is no logical problem.
No, what I mean is that are they qualified to get means if they want to get a moksha, do they have to take the janma of Manusha to experience these three states?
Moksha, as per the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is concerned, moksha can be there for Manusyas, Rishis and Devatas. Yatha Manushyanam, Tatha Rishinam, Tatha Devanam, and all can have moksha and Brahmajnana. Brahmajnana is not only for Manusyas, but Karmakanda is only for Manusyas. This should be remembered. Karmas and upasanas are only for Manusyas. If Devata want to perform a yajna, it's not possible. Devata cannot do yajnas. Because the technical problem is, there is a sutra, two sutras are there in Mimamsa. It said, Na Rishinam Arsheya Bhavat, Na Devadanam Devantara Bhavat. No, it's very interesting. If you like to hear, I will just explain that, because already we are crossing the time. Now in Karmakanda, there are many types of rituals. We call it Anga rituals. Now we had about many rishis. They are wonderful in performing karma and all those. But technically there is a problem. That rishis cannot be yajamanas. They cannot be yajamanas. Why? Because there is one ritual called Arsheya Varanam. Arsha Varanam. Arsha Varana means like we do Acharya Varanam. We bring Acharya, invite Acharya, and request Acharya to perform our karma. Like when we go to temple, we pray to the priest there to perform for us. Please perform for us. We have brought all these things to offer to God. So you please perform for us. Thus we do. Similarly, there is a ritual called Arsha Varanam. Arsha Varanam means the Yajamana, the performer, will invoke all the rishis connected to his gotra. So this performance is there. Now in those rishis, Bharadwaja Rishi, Vasishtha Rishi, Bhrigu Rishi, all those are there. They are all named separate. Now suppose if these rishis try to perform that ritual, they cannot call themselves, no? They cannot invite themselves. Now Bhrigu Rishi cannot invite Bhrigu Rishi because he himself is Bhrigu Rishi. So that performance, as we call it, Arshavaranam, cannot be happen. So it is a problem for Karmakanda. If you don't do a part of ritual, that Karmakanda is incomplete, declared to be incomplete. So it cannot get the fruit of or the effect of that. So that is the problem. Therefore, rishis cannot perform Karmakanda. So now next chance is for devas, because they have so much of so much special abilities. The gods cannot perform these rituals, because in all these rituals, Indraya Swaha, Prajapataye Swaha. Now this Indra himself cannot call and perform for himself. It's not possible. So Indra will not perform for himself. Indraya Swaha cannot be done. And without where these mantras are chanted, it should be chanted, is a part of ritual. If you don't chant those mantras, that ritual is considered as incomplete. So it cannot bring the fruit. Again, that's the problem. So therefore, Devata cannot do. Now, another thing, when we say Indraya Swaha Idam Na Mama, now I say this is what I am offering for Indra. Okay, this is for Indra. This is my, it is my ghee or my purodasa or my fruit or whatever. I am offering this to Indra. And then I say this is now, is not for, it is not mine. Idam na mama. So that is how I offer to Indra. So it is taken by Indra. Now what I offered is in the possession of Indra. That is for Indra now. Now this word cannot be pronounced by Indra. Why? Because Indra cannot say Indraya Swaha Idam Namama. It cannot be said because it is wrong. Because Indraya Swaha is for Indra only. How can he say it is not mine? So therefore, now Indra cannot do that. Prajapati cannot do so. These performance cannot be performed by rishis and devatas, Gotra rishis and devatas. But Brahmavidya, for Brahmavidya, they can practice Brahmavidya. Then, if they have the sadhana, they can know Brahmavidya and get moksha. So that is there in Upanishads. Okay? Yeah. We conclude here. If any other question related to this, you can put in the group. So I will find some time and answer to you. So if any other question, you can just write in YouTube comment box or in group. Okay? Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Narayana.
Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Swami.
Namo Narayana. Namo Narayana.